Canadian fire crisis. We can all learn from Canadian government this year, specifically the gaslighting part. Figuratively and quite literally. In 2025, fires tore through provinces of Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. The official response? It's a crisis.
Effective 4 p.m. today, we're telling Nova Scotians, stay out of the woods. We are restricting travel, hiking, camping, fishing, and the use of vehicles.
Lock down the forests, close public lands, fine citizens over $30,000 just for stepping foot into the woods. They called it safety. Where did I hear that before? We're all in this together.
We're all in this together. Get the shot.
No way. Not this time.
We covered it on this show multiple times in the last few years. Every time there's a fire crisis specifically, after investigation and a few months later, authorities come out and no longer claim it was climate change.
We did conduct a planned ignition on that fire last Thursday. We did it cautiously. We knew the winds were coming. As those winds were approaching, going through the Caribou Fire Center, there was a continuous line of fuel between the main body of the fire and all of the communities along the North Shuswap. Unfortunately, with the wind that we knew was forecast and that was coming, that fire went above the control line that we burned off from and then swept back into the communities in the North.
And the British Columbia RCMP taking responsibility for an out-of-control wildfire burning north of Lytton.
The BC RCMP has revealed that it accidentally sparked the Eisman Creek wildfire currently burning along Highway 12 just north of Lytton.
It does appear that equipment was simply failed. Obviously very unintentional.
So authorities admitted they started some of those fires by accident. That's right. The same people who banned you from the forest lit it themselves. Meanwhile, the Nova Scotia Firefighters School shut down over safety concerns. Budgets were cut. Firefighters left under-equipped.
Around 2005, 2006 in Nova Scotia, every district office for Department of Natural Resources had 5-man fire crews in the summer, and they got cut back to 3. And then in 2012, we had a rapid response heli-tac team, so they're the best of the best firefighters that the province had, and they were positioned in the center of the province at fire control with the Bell 212 helicopter. And so what those guys did was they kept fires at 3 to 4 acres rather than turning into 30 to 40,000 acre fires. So those guys got disbanded. That big helicopter got sold. We bought new helicopters that don't have the same lifting capacity, and none of them are big enough to be able to transport a heli-tac team. And then the province also dismantled our entire fire tower system that was our early warning system for the province.
But don't worry, your tax money was spent elsewhere. $22 billion committed to Ukraine, $6.5 billion in military aid, $3 billion of that under Prime Minister Mark Carney. All while Canada runs a $90 billion deficit. But it's about managing resources, as Susan Holt said.
Me going for a walk in the woods is going to cause a fire. I can understand why people think that that's ridiculous. But the reality is, it's not that you might cause a fire. It's that if you're out there walking in the woods and you break your leg, we're not going to come and get you, because we have emergency responders that are out focused on a fire that is threatening the lives of New Brunswickers. And if you take your boat out fishing in a pond in Crown Land and you capsize, we're not going to be able to come and help you out, because our first responders are focused on an immediate and serious threat to our province. And so it's the possibility of diverting emergency resources away from where they are really needed.
At the same time, the province continues to approve glyphosate spraying, a known fire accelerant, kills biodiversity, and turns once-lush woodlands into fuel. And yet, they want you to be held accountable just for living, for just walking in the woods. They say it's for your safety. We're all in this together. Protect the firefighters. Get the shot, because they can't properly manage the resources.
If you don't and you cause a fire, we will hold you accountable.
Meanwhile, the companies spraying chemtrails with Roundup and other chemicals carry on business as usual, and your taxpayer money has nothing to do with it, I'm sure. So ask yourself, How many Canadians even know Roundup is being sprayed on the land and over their heads? And how many still believe the government has their best interest at heart? And this connects to a global program. Canada signed onto the 30 by 30 agenda, the coming Montreal Global Biodiversity, here's that word again, framework. 4 global goals, 23 targets. A plan to live in harmony with nature. In practice, it means removing people from nature. All under the UN and World Economic Forum's guidance. Remember World Economic Forum in this scenario. We'll get back to it. And when you question it, they gaslight you. They call you the danger, a trespasser, a conspiracy theorist. You must be held accountable.
And they issued me a ticket for a grand total of $28,872.50 because apparently on top of that $25,000 fine, there are taxes, court fees, and a victim fee.
Even if you were just trying to go for a walk in the woods, even if all you had were the Snickers. Now, let's add the corporate layer. Bayer, the company that bought Monsanto and Roundup, they faced over 177,000 lawsuits in the US, settled for about $11 billion worth in 2020. Who owns Bayer? It's public. Listed on the Frankfurt Stock Exchange, ticker BAYEN. And the largest shareholders? Yes, you guessed it. BlackRock, Vanguard. BlackRock, roughly 9%, Vanguard probably 4%. But those are majority shareholders. This is not a wildfire crisis. It's not even a climate crisis. It's a leadership crisis, gaslighting at best, and land control agenda hiding behind a green mask. When the same people who light the fires also write the laws, we are not being protected. We're being played. So technically, your government is owned and ran by BlackRock and corporations. Why do you say I say that? Well, first of all, I'm sure the Roundup is not free. So they buy it from corporation. But Health Canada deems it safe when used as directed. Of course, Health Canada, remember Health Canada a few years ago? That expression that they used, safe and effective. Well, it applies to Roundup, apparently. Now we know south of the border, they agreed that it's poison. All over the world, they agree it's poison. But here in Canada, it's still safe and effective, especially when it's sprayed from helicopters on the heads of your children. And as I was saying, all my vegan friends, all my organic friends, when you go pick up those berries in the woods, they 100% are sprayed by Roundup. You just got to assume that. And my hunters, the same thing. You're affected because moose meat is gone, because moose no longer reside in those areas because their food source is gone. And there's lack of sufficient studies. Do you really need a study in Canada to know that Roundup is poison? Just ask indigenous population. They'll tell you. They'll tell you how it affects them. But it's for the monocultures. What is it good? It's good because monocultures yield greater economic results when you sell that timber down south to the United States. And that seems to be the problem. Money comes first, and then we gaslight and say, you the problem, don't go into the woods, do not start the fires, because, nature is good, but humans are evil. Well, there is evil in the world, and that's not your ordinary humans, citizens, people. It's the people that pretend to be authority representing your interest, which they're supposed to. They don't. They're bought and paid for by corporate interests. So maybe we'll live in corporate fascism of sort, is that popular term, fascism. And it goes back many, many years. We know East Trading Company, West Trading Company, that was trading opiates, tobacco, slaves, among other things. And why is it important to know it's BlackRock? This guy.
Well, behaviors are going to have to change, and this is one thing we're asking companies. you have to force behaviors, and at BlackRock we are forcing behaviors. 54% of the incoming class are women. We added 4 more points in terms of diverse employment this year, and what we are doing internally is if you don't achieve these levels of impact, your compensation could be impacted. Okay,
we're doing the same thing.
And so it's just you have to force behaviors. And if you don't force behaviors, whether it's gender or race or just any way you want to say the composition of your team.
Larry Fink, he's not only here about to enforce your behavior through programs like DEI corporately, but he also to spray poisons on your head. And he does it under the guise of World Economic Forum and UN and now the Agenda 2030 and Agenda 2050. And guess what? Larry Fink is going to replace Klaus Schwab as the World Economic Forum leader. How do you stop the evil? We have a free will. Choose good, be righteous, make decisions from the goodness of your heart. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We'll see you on the next one.